Good morning, children. Welcome to today's class. So you all know that in the last class, I had given a description about the nervous system, why this nervous system is important, what this nervous system does for our body, is it not? So just recall of the things what has been taught in the last class. So this nervous system, it is very, very important. It is called the control center of the body. Why? Because it controls all the activities which is performed by our body. Now, as I said, through the sense organs, through the 5 sense organs which we have in our body, eyes, nose, ears, tongue and skin, we'll come to know what is happening in the environment. So we'll be aware of the things happening in the environment. So through the eyes we see, just by looking we can see what is happening, is it not? And by hearing, listening, you can hear what has been taught or what has been speaking about. Or by just touching, whether you can say it is hot or cold, any object, or you can say what it is. Okay. And then by tasting the food, you will come to know what you are eating, whether the food is salty, sour, whether it is sweet. Is it not? And by seeing, touching, feeling, hearing and tasting, you come to know the smelling, you come to know what is happening in the environment, right? Yes, sir. So as I said, now have you ever wondered how is this possible? How when we see something or when I show the board what it is, so you will be able to read THE, the NERVOUS, nervous, SYSTEM system. You will understand that it is nervous system. Or when I am talking, your ears will hear that I am talking about the nervous system, is it not? So have you ever wondered or have you ever thought how this is possible? This is because of the nervous system. So the nervous system, it sends, processes and receives, processes and sends the message. It receives the message from different parts of the body. It processes those messages. It analyzes, it understands what message is that. And again, it sends the message to that particular part of the body, what it is. Now, as I said, you are seeing this nervous system. So your eyes will first see what it is. So immediately it sends the message to the brain, okay? And brain will understand, will analyze what it is. So it will read this as the nervous system. Again, the brain will send the message to the eyes that it is whatever you are seeing is the nervous system, okay? So like this, it is for all the sense organs. So first it is going to receive the message, it will understand what it is, and then after understanding, it sends the message to the different parts, okay? So that is why this sense organ is called as control center of the body, okay? So what is the use of this sense organs is it controls and coordinates. That means it is going to work with the other organs. It is going to adjust. It is going to work along with the other organs. Now, suppose as I said, eyes, ears. So it joins with the other organs and processes and tells what it is. So it controls and coordinates what all the activities are taking part in our body. So whatever activity is going to take care of our body or happening in our body, it is taken care by the nervous system. Okay. So when we go in detail further, we'll see how this sending, processing and receiving of the messages takes place. For the time being, you understand that the nervous system, it receives the message, so it analyzes, it understands what is that message. Again, it is going to send a message back that particular thing is happening to you. Okay. So that is important function of the nervous system. That means it controls and coordinates the activities which is going to happen in our body. Okay. So it receives the information, it from the different parts of the body and responds to that information. Now suppose if it is very cold out today, okay, if it is cold, so your body will get the sensation of cold. You will feel the sensation of cold. Your skin will say that it is cold. You get the sensation of the cold. Okay, you get the feeling of the cold. So that message will be sent, and you will respond. Your body will respond to that by shivering. Now suppose you feeling cold, you are feeling cold, okay, so your body will shiver. So this is the change what is happening in the environment. Suppose if the weather is cold, that is the change happening in the environment. So how will your body respond to that? By shivering. By shivering. You will feel, okay, by shivering. You will feel change in the environment by shivering. And how will your body respond? You will get goosebumps all over your body. Goosebumps. So you are going to get goosebumps. That means the hair all will become straight and small boys will be there on the skin. You might have experienced that. So that is all taken care by the nervous system. It feels the change in the environment, it responds to that, and it gives back the feedback for that. How is your body going to respond to that? So it understands what is the change happening in the environment. Your body is going to feel that change by shivering, and it is going to respond by getting goosebumps. So all these activities are taken care by the nervous system. Okay, so that is why this nervous system, it controls and coordinates the activities. So that is why this nervous system is called as control center of the body. I'll write it this side. So since it controls all the activities, responds to that, so it is called as control center of the body. Control center of the body. Okay. So it takes care. It is not only for the responding for the outside. So within our body, it controls, it monitors what are the changes happening in our body. So it takes care, it feels the change, it responds to that changes. So that is why it is called control center of the body. So it monitors the changes, it responds to the changes. First it feels the changes, it monitors what is happening, and your body is going to respond to that. So all these are taken care by the nervous system. Okay. So later we will see how this happens, how the, as I said, message will be first received, and then the nervous system is going to process what it is or understand what it is, and then after understanding it will say, oh, this message should be sent to the eyes. So again it is going to send the message to the eyes. Okay. So we'll see in the next class how it is going to occur, how this exchange of the message takes place. Okay. So for the time being, you understand. So it controls and coordinates the activities which is happening in our daily life, in our body. Okay. So that is why it is called the control center of the body. Understood? Okay. So next, we'll see the parts of the nervous system. Okay. What are the parts of the nervous system? So basically this nervous system has 3 parts. Okay. So nervous system has 3 parts. Parts of the nervous system. So without this nervous system, we are not able to understand what I am writing. You are not able to hear what I am saying. Okay. So such important is the nervous system. So we'll study the parts of the nervous system. Okay. The first one is brain. Second one is spinal cord. Second is spinal cord. Third is nerves. nerves. Okay, so because of this nerves only, the nervous system. Okay, that means it is our body, the whole body is made up of nerves. So when we study about the nerves, I'll explain that. Okay, so what are the three parts of the nervous system? Brain, spinal cord and nerves. So these are the three parts of the nervous system. Okay, understood? Yes. Now we'll go in detail these three parts. We'll study in detail these three parts. Okay. Yes. So first we'll study about the brain. So if you see the picture there, I have drawn the picture of brain there. Okay. So this is the brain. So we'll study about the brain in detail. Okay. So this brain, as I said, the messages will be sent. It will process the message. It receives the message. It processes and sends back. So that is why this brain is the very important organ of our body. It is very important organ of our body. Okay, so the first point is it is very important organ of our body. So if brain was not there, so then all these activities would not be carried out. So that is why we say that brain is the important part of our body. Okay, so what is the work of this brain is? So it receives the messages. It processes the messages and it is going to send back the messages. Okay, it receives the message, it processes what message is that, and it sends back the message. So that is why this can be compared, our brain can be compared to the computer. Okay, so like how for the computer, if you give some input, so it is going to process, it is going to understand what is that. Again, after understanding, it gives us the output. So here also, first it takes the input, what is the signal coming, what is the message coming, then it understands what message is that, and it sends back the message to the other part, to whatever part it is carried. So the important work of the brain is it receives the message from the different parts of the body, it processes that message, and again it sends back the message to the particular part of the body. Okay, so that is why it can be compared to the computer. Okay, and then the next point is, so where is this brain situated? So you all know that when you studied about the skeletal system, you studied about the skull. So in the skull, you have the brain you learned, is it not? So at the back also, when you learned about the parts, you studied about the spinal cord, is it not? So above this spinal cord, at the top of the spinal cord, you have this skull. Okay, so you have this at the top of spinal cord, top of spinal cord. Okay, and this is being protected by the skull, protected by skull. Skull is protecting the brain. Okay, so where it is situated at the top of the spinal cord, backbone or the spine, and it is outside, there is a bony skull, okay, which is going to protect the brain. So above this part you have the skull, so this is the brain. So above this you have the skull, so inside the skull you have the brain. Got it? Understood? So it is going to protect. The skull is going to protect. So it is at the top of the spinal cord. Understood? And the approximate weight of the brain is 1.4 kgs. So the weight of the human brain is 1.4 kgs. Okay, the weight, how much it weighs, is 1.4 kgs. Understood? Okay, next point is, so as I said, it is present at the top of the spinal cord. Okay, so in between the brain and the spinal cord, there is some gap given. So in that gap, so in the gap between the brain. Brain and spinal cord. Brain and spinal cord. There is some gap. Okay. So there is some gap between the brain and the spinal cord. So that gap, or you can say it as space. Okay. That space is being filled with some fluid or liquid, you can say. It has been filled with some fluid, liquid. So because that fluid is present between the brain and the spinal cord, it is going to protect the brain against the shocks. So all of a sudden, if you get any news, so this, because of that fluid present there, or jerks, okay, jerks or shocks. So because that fluid is present there, so it is going to protect the brain from any sudden emotions, sudden news if you get anything. So that fluid will protect you from shocks or the jerks. Okay, so that is why this fluid is present in between the skull and the brain. Clear? Okay, and then next point is, so this brain is made up of, as I said, the third part of the nervous system, I said it is nerves. So this brain is made up of millions of nerves. Millions of nerves. Okay. So what is this nerves? When I teach you the third part of the brain, I'm going to say, for the time being, you think that it is a fiber-like or a hair-like structure. So such tiny it is. So imagine in our body there are millions of nerves. So imagine how tiny it is. So through these nerves only, the messages will be carried and processed, and it will be brought. Okay. So this brain is made up of millions of nerves. Okay, and it is not left like that only. So each nerve is linked with thousands of nerves. Thousands of nerves. That means there is network of nerves throughout our body. There is interconnection between the nerves throughout our body, through which the messages will be sent and brought forward. Okay, so there are millions of nerves in our body, and each nerve is connected to thousands of nerves, or linked, you can say. Each nerve is linked to thousands of nerves there. So imagine how the network is in our body. So there are millions of nerves, and in that each nerve is connected to the thousands of nerves. We will not know where this nerve is connected, where that nerve is connected. So it will be interconnected among themselves. So there are millions of nerves, and each nerve will be linked to thousands of nerves. So that is why the sending and the receiving of the messages is possible, and it is so fast. Imagine now when I am saying, you are able to hear, is it not? Or when I am writing, you will understand what is this. So imagine how fast the message through the nerves, it is being sent to the brain from the eyes or from the ears. Imagine how fast the message is being sent to the brain, and brain will decide, oh, this is nerves. Again, it will send the message to the eyes or to the ears, and you are able to see or hear. So imagine how fast the nervous system is working. So within fraction of second, the message will be heard, message will be processed, and again the message will be sent back. So it is all possible through this nerves. So now you would have understood how important this nervous system is. So without this nervous system, the daily activities, most of the activities would not be possible. So if that network of nerves was not there in our body, so through what the message would be sent, brought, and how will you understand that this is nerves, or how will you see that it is the nervous system? Is it not? So this works within a fraction of second. The sending and receiving of messages takes place within fraction of seconds. Okay, so this is about the brain. Okay, these are the points about the brain. Now we'll move to the parts of the brain. What are the different parts of the brain? So here brain again it has 3 parts. Okay, so as you see, I have written it on the board here. This part is cerebrum. Below you can see cerebellum, and this is medulla. Okay, so now we will see the different parts of the brain. Different parts of the brain. So you understood or you learned that there are 3 parts of the brain again: cerebrum, cerebellum, and medulla. Okay, so these are the 3 different parts of the brain. So now in detail we will study about the 3 parts. So first we are going to study about cerebrum. Okay, so we are going to study about cerebrum. First we will study about cerebrum. Okay, so when you see the picture here, so this whole part from here till here, all these are cerebrum. Okay, so when you see the picture, you will understand how big it is. So this cerebrum is the biggest organ of the brain or biggest part of the brain. Biggest part of the brain. Okay, so that is why the cerebrum is called as larger brain. Larger brain. Okay, so since it is the biggest part, it is called as larger brain. Okay, and where it is present? At the top. Okay, brain at the top, this cerebrum is present. Okay, and this has, now when you see this, you have like this folds or grooves like this, is it not? So because of these are called as folds or grooves, you can say. You can say as grooves. So this folds or grooves are there so that it can fit into the skull. Because of that only it can fit into the skull easily. Okay. And what part of the activities are carried out by the cerebrum? Okay, so these cerebrum, these carries out the involuntary activities. Okay, this cerebrum, it receives the messages from the sense organs. Now, as I said, this brain is going to take care. So it is in this part of the brain. Now, as I said, you see this BRAIN brain, I said, is it not? So it is, when I said through the nerves, the messages are being sent. So the message will go to this part, cerebrum. Okay. So it will understand, oh, this is BRAIN brain. And again, from the cerebrum, the brain is going to send the message to the eyes and you will be able to read that as brain. Okay. So these activities are carried out by the cerebrum. So what are the activities? Thinking, okay. So when I ask reasoning out, so reasoning, thinking, reasoning, okay. Then remembering, you will study for the test, and while writing the test, you will remember, or you will get back, recall whatever you have learned, and then you write the answer, is it not? Or by seeing that when the teacher explains, so that time you will recall. Now, suppose if any question is given, so you will remember or recall what is that, or what part is that, or just by seeing the picture you will recall, oh, this was cerebellum, this was cerebellum, this was medulla, like that. So that remembering and taking decisions, take decisions, oh, if it is true or false, whether I should write true or false, taking decisions, and emotions, crying, laughing, all these emotions. So all these are taken care by the cerebrum. Okay, so thinking, reasoning, remembering, taking decisions, and emotions. All these are taken care by the cerebrum. So this is the largest part of the brain, cerebrum. It is present at the top, and since it has folds or the grooves, it is easily being fit into the skull, and it takes care of thinking, reasoning, remembering, taking decisions, emotions. And this is in this part only, so the messages will be brought back from the sense organs, and the brain will decide what it is, and again it sends to the sends message to the sense organs what work is to be carried out. Okay, so this is about the first part, cerebrum. Got it? Yes. Now we'll move to the second part. Second part, it is cerebellum. What is it? Cerebellum. So in the last class only I said, so these words are very new to you. So you have to repeat again and again so that you will be practiced. You will get those words easily. Okay. So next part is the cerebellum. So this is called the small brain. So cerebrum, you learned it is the largest part. So below the here, can you see? So below this part is cerebellum. So you call it as small brain. Okay. So where it is situated? Below this cerebrum. So it is present below the cerebrum. So where it is present? It is below cerebrum at the back of the head. Okay. Back of the head. Cerebrum is present at the top. So below that you have cerebellum. Okay. So it is below cerebrum and it is called a small brain and it is present at the back of the head. Okay. So this part is responsible for controlling and coordinating the activities which are taking place. Okay. So it is responsible for controlling and coordinating the activities which are happening in our body. So these are responsible for controlling and coordinating the activities. That means it takes care of voluntary actions in our body. It is responsible for voluntary actions in our body. Okay, so when I explained the muscles, I think you remember there were 3 types of muscles: voluntary muscles, involuntary muscles, and cardiac muscles. Do you remember? Yes. So what are voluntary muscles? That muscles which are under our control. So we will take care of those muscles. It will not listen to anybody. So we are going to take care of that muscles. Okay. So here voluntary actions. That means the actions which are under our control. So when I explained the muscles, I said, when I am going to do the textbook exercise, I'll say, open the textbook, children. So what will be your immediate action? So you will go to your bag, you open the bag, you take out the textbook. That means it is under your control, is it not? And when I say, or suppose when you are in the class, as soon as the school bell rings, when I say move, so immediately you will put your bag and walk out of the class. Or running, playing, doing exercise, walking. So all these actions are voluntary actions. So those are controlled by the cerebellum. Okay. So example, running, walking, speaking, etc. Okay. So all these are voluntary actions which are controlled by the cerebellum of the brain. Okay. So these are few actions which are responsible for voluntary actions: running, walking, speaking, sitting, standing, moving, getting up. So all those actions are under our control. Whenever we want, we can do. So that is taken care by cerebellum. Okay. So this is the second part of the brain, cerebellum. Understood, children? Yes. Now we'll move to the third part. Third part is medulla. What is it? Medulla. Repeat the word so that it will be familiar for you. So after that you think, oh, all these words are new to us. So you don't try to read also. So third part is the medulla. So here can you see this one? Okay. So when you see the picture, When you see that part, so what will you remember, or what shape comes to your mind? It resembles the stem or the trunk of the tree, is it not? So that is why this part is called as brain stem. Since the part resembles the stem or the trunk of the tree, it is called as brain stem. So for the brain, it is like the stem. So this is called brain stem. Okay, and where it is, what it connects is, so it connects the brain and the spinal cord. It is going to connect the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, so do you remember where is the spinal cord? So when I explained the backbone, so there are 33 small bones in our body. So in the whole 33 bones is called as vertebral column, or the spine, or the backbone, I said. So inside that there is a flexible rod. Do you remember? So that rod is called as spinal cord. So this medulla, it is going to connect the brain to the backbone. Okay, so where it is present, below the skull it is present, and it is going to connect to the, and it extends till the last bone of the vertebral column or the spine. Okay, so it is going to connect the brain and the spinal cord. That means you can say it extends from the brain. From the brain, it is going to join to the last bone of the vertebral column. So it is present till there. Okay, and what work is that? What work it does is, it controls the involuntary activities, involuntary actions, you can say, involuntary actions of our body. That means actions which are not under our control. So when I said, when you have the food, it is going to pass through the food pipe, I said. So can you control that? Is those actions under your control? No, is it not? So such actions are controlled by the medulla. So example, you can give heartbeat, okay, and then digestion of the food, heartbeat, digestion of the food, then breathing, and then blood circulation. Okay, so all these activities, all these are involuntary actions which are controlled by the medulla. Understood? So cerebrum is a large part of the brain. So it is going to control, it is going to pass, it controls and coordinates, that is sending and receiving of the messages. And then below that you have the cerebellum. It controls the voluntary actions like walking, sitting, running, jumping. And then next comes the medulla. It resembles the stem or the trunk of a tree. That is why it is called the brain stem. And it extends from the brain, and it goes till the last bone of the vertebral column. And it controls the involuntary actions such as heartbeat, digestion, breathing, and blood circulation. So these are the three parts of the brain, their functions, where it is, how does it work. Okay, yes. Now we'll meet this medulla. So this, especially the brain, this not only the medulla, especially this brain, it needs oxygen to work. Continuous supply of the oxygen. It needs oxygen to work. Even when a person is sleeping also, the brain does not sleep. So it works continuously. It does not sleep. It does not take rest. Like cardiac muscles, you learned, is it not? So the functioning of the heart. So it does not wait for any message to be sent, any orders, or it will not take rest. It works day and night. So even this brain also, even the person, even if the person is sleeping also, even if in sleep also, the brain will be functioning. Okay, so even it needs, so that rest also. It needs rest. It is not in the form of sleep. So what is mean by rest for the brain? So without more thinking, more giving stress for that. So even that also needs rest. Okay. So these are few parts, few points we have discussed about the brain in this class. Okay. And then the left side of the brain, it is going to control the right part of the body, and the right part of the brain, it is going to control the left part of the body. And if the right side of the brain gets damaged in an accident, then affects the working of the left leg or the arm of the body. So since it controls the opposite, so if the right part of the brain gets damaged, then it is going to affect the left arm or the leg. So it is vice versa, that is ulta. So if the left side will control the right part and the right part will control the left part. Okay. So this is about the brain. Okay, this is about the first part of the nervous system. Okay, so next we'll move to the second part of the nervous system, that is spinal cord. Okay, so this you have already learned. Spinal cord, just now also I explained, is it not? Where is the spinal cord present? So what is this spinal cord? Okay. So the second part of the nervous system is spinal cord. Second part of the nervous system is spinal cord. So what is this spinal cord is? It is thick bundle of nerves. So as I said, our body, there are millions of nerves, and each nerve is connected to thousands of nerves. So this spinal cord also, it is the thick bundle of nerves, and where it is present inside the backbone. So it is protected by backbone. It is protected by backbone. Okay. It is protected by backbone or the spine or the vertebral column, you can say. And I said that. So where is this spinal cord? I said it is inside the backbone. Okay. Now I told you this nervous system is basically on sending and receiving the messages, is it not? When I say that the message will be sent from the sense organs to the brain, and brain will decide what it is, and again it is going to send the message. So whatever the message is being sent to and fro, it should pass through the spinal cord only. Now suppose I say what you read, what I have written. So your eyes will capture this message first. So it is going to send the message to the brain, I said. So from the eyes, the message will be sent to the brain. So while going to the brain, it should pass through the spinal cord only. So what are the messages to and fro it has been sent? Now, suppose the message has been sent from the eyes, it is going to reach the brain, I said. The message is going to reach the brain, I said. So it should pass through the spinal cord. It should pass through the spinal cord and then it should reach the brain. Okay. And then again from the brain, after the brain processes what is that message, again the brain should send the message to the eyes now. Again vice versa, ulta. Again from the brain, when it is reaching the eyes, again it should pass through the spinal cord. So the messages, when it is been sent through to and when it is received fro, that is to and fro message, what it is being sent from the sense organs to the brain. After brain decide what is it, it should pass through the spinal cord only. So while going also it should pass through the spinal cord, and from the brain, if it is receiving the message, that time also it should come through the spinal cord only. So message what is being sent, so it should go and come through the spinal cord only. Got it? And there are few actions which the brain is not involved. So those actions are called as reflex actions. Those actions are called as reflex actions. Okay. Now suppose if you go to pluck a flower, rose. Okay. So you will not notice that thorn is there. Suppose if immediate your hand, if the thorn pricks your hand, so what will be your immediate action? So you will wait for the blood to come out of your finger. Until then, will you wait, or will the finger wait there only? No. What will be the immediate action? So you will take back your hand immediately. Within no second, you will take back your hand. Is it not? Or while moving on the road, suppose if stone pricks your leg, or some sharp objects, anything pricks your leg, or by mistake if you touch any hot object in your house, or while cutting, if you cut your fingers by mistake. So all these actions, it will not take time. So immediately you will respond to it by taking your leg back or by pulling your hand back. So such actions are called as reflex actions. So these actions, it will not wait. These actions, now suppose your hand, now from the hand, the message should go to the brain should decide, and then after that, it takes, you will get the message to pull out your hand. I said, I told that messages will take within a fraction of second only. But these actions, reflex actions, it will not wait for that also. It will take lesser time than that. Because now suppose from the hand, okay, so suppose you touch a hot object, okay. From the hand, you touch a hot object, message should go to the brain, is it not? So in such cases, in case of reflex actions, the message will not go to the brain. The spinal cord is only going to take the authority. It is only going to take the decision. Again, from the spinal cord only, it is going to send the message to the hand to pull your hands back. Okay, so such actions are called as reflex actions. So reflex actions are taken care by the spinal cord. So in such actions, the message will not go to the brain. Okay, spinal cord only, immediately it will only take the decision, ask your hand to pull it, take it back. Okay, or leg to take it back. Got it? So spinal cord is only going to decide. So such actions are called as reflex actions. Understood, children? So these today in this class, I have taught you the two parts of the nervous system. So the first one was the brain, second one was the spinal cord. Okay. So in the next class, I'm going to teach you the third part, that is the nerves. Okay. Yes. Now coming to today's homework. So in the last class, I had given fill in the blanks, I think, from the worksheet. Is it not? So I had written it on the board and I told you to copy. So I told in the next class, I'm not going to write it on the board. I'll just say what you have to write. You have to do the homework. Is it not? Yes. Now it is from the August worksheet, second main, true or false. Okay. So I'll just read out what are the questions. After that, I'll write on the board what you have to write. Okay. So from the August worksheet, second main, write true or false. Common cold is caused by bacteria. So it is false because it is caused by virus. Second, we should eat food from roadside vendors. It is false. So we don't know from such a long time we would have kept it open. The flies, mosquitoes, everything would sit on that and we get disease by eating that contaminated food or drinking contaminated water. So we should not have it. So it is false. Then fungi do not contain chlorophyll. So even though the fungi is considered as the plant organism, so it does not have the chlorophyll. So it cannot prepare its own food. It depends on the other living organisms. Okay. Next, microbes can be seen only under a microscope. So since they are very tiny organisms, they can be seen under a microscope. True. Fifth, the lower jaw is the only movable bone in the skull. So in the skull, only this lower jaw is movable because to talk or to eat, that option is given. So it is true. Next, The hip and shoulder joints are examples of gliding joint. It is false. So here the shoulder or the hip, it is of ball and socket joint. So one will be in the shape of ball, other one will be the socket. So the ball will go and fit in the socket. Next, the muscles found in the arms and legs are involuntary muscles. False. So those actions are taken care by those are voluntary muscles. So it is false. Next, 8. Femur or the thigh bone is the longest bone in our body. Yes, it is true. So the thigh bone, the bone present in the thigh, it is the longest bone in our body. So it is true. Got it, children? So these 8 true or false, I want you to write it 2 times. Okay, so that is your homework. I'll write what is the homework. Okay, so I said I'm not going to write it on the board, is it not? So I write what you have to write. So by this time, I think everybody would have copied the worksheet, is it not? Yes. So I'm going to write what you have to do it for your homework. Got it? Yes. So this is assignment. So Wednesday I want this. Got it? Yes. So yes. Learn and write. Okay. So first I am giving learn. Learn and write. Second main. That is true or false. True or false from August worksheet. August worksheet 2 times. Twice. Okay. So it is just true or false. You can write it 2 times. Got it, children? I hope you have all written that worksheet, copied that worksheet. So second main from the August worksheet you have to write. So you have 8 true or false. You have to write it 2 times. Okay, children? So I think you have all followed today's lesson about the importance of the nervous system and the parts of the nervous system. So it has 3 parts. I said I explained 2 parts today. So tomorrow in the next class, I'll teach you the 3rd part of the nervous system. Okay. Until then, take care and bye, children.